Thank you, Hardeep ji, and thanks, Kati and Henning, for giving us this opportunity. We have a few participants online already. We have about 7 participants, including us. So, is it okay if we wait for another, maybe a few more minutes?
Yes, it's okay with us. No worries. You tell me when you're ready, and then we start.
In the meantime, I want to say I really love your earrings.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to wear a lot of these long earrings.
MYASS assistant. MA made this one. It's one of Kati's assistants, caregivers, made this one for her.
I work in a rural community, and the women here also wear really large earrings.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll send across some photos someday.
Yeah, that would be great. Kati loves them. Loves to see different kind of things, and then she can get idea, and then she can ask her sister-in-law maybe to make it because she's handy with those things. So.
Sure, sure. Okay, so we have Jennifer, Selva, Shruti, Priya. Hello, welcome everyone.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for joining. We thought we'll wait a few more minutes, maybe couple of minutes more, in case there are others who are trying to join.
Yep.
So in the meantime, if you want to say a couple of lines introducing yourself and
Okay, we can start. Yes, we can start with that. Yeah, you ready? Yes.
Priya, would you want to share?
Priya.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Priya, we can hear you. It's slightly faint, but we can hear you.
Let me join back if I'm not audible very much.
It's just low.
Okay, give me a minute. I'll just join back from my computer.
Sure. Maybe somebody else. Jennifer, would you like to share something about your journey, your experience with stroke?
Yeah, sure. So I am Jennifer from Karnataka, India. So I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke 2 years ago because of a malformation that was existing from birth in my brain. And due to high blood pressure, that ruptured and that paralyzed my left side of the body. And currently, my hand is almost like 90% back to normal, but I have some struggles with relating to my leg. So I'm continuing my physiotherapy. So would love to hear from Kati how she overcame all of this and how she handles all of her challenges with this.
Yes.
Selva, would you like to share something?
Hello.
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 Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. I got a stroke last year. Because my right side is affected actually. So it's been 11 months since I got the stroke. I'm 31 years of age, recovering slowly.
Yeah.
Shruti, would you like to go next? Hello,
Okay.
Samir, welcome.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, Selva, did you wish to add something else?
No, ma'am. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks. Shruti, Samir, would you like to share something about your stroke journey in a sentence or two?
Say hello. Hello. Kati.
Hello.
Henning. Kati.
Hello.
How are you? How are you?
As we are fine, thank you.
Thank
We are
you.
doing fine. Happy to be here.
Thank
You
you.
should say happy
Happy
to
to
see you.
see you.
Yes, likewise.
Thank you. Oh, got it too.
You want to say you had a stroke. I had a.
Stroke.
You have to see there and tell. Okay. Okay, relax.
That,
3 years back.
Yes, 3 years ago. Okay. Still going strong.
Can talk.
I couldn't.
I
I
can
and
talk.
talk.
Yeah. But still trying to get better.
Yes.
Thanks.
That's good. Always keeping up the fight. That's the most important.
You are happy?
Okay.
You feel okay? But you're happy to see them.
Okay. Super.
Super. You're going strong.
Tongue.
I am strong.
And then
Yeah.
walk.
Yes, keep strong. Keep going on. Don't give in.
Oh, okay.
Never give up. Never give.
No.
That's a wonderful message to start with. I'll take this opportunity to welcome Veena and Jaspal Singh. And I would like to, first of all, thank Kati and Henning for doing this warrior session with us. We are really grateful to be learning from each other and to be sharing in each other's struggles. Uh, Without further ado, I will let Kati and Henning start telling us, sharing about their journey. So over to you, Kati and Henning.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to
Thank
mute
you, Atal.
myself so that there is no background noise, and I will request everybody to do the same. Thank you.
Hi, Atal, Hardeep, and thank you for having us. Thank you for the invite. Hello to everybody online. Yes, and one important thing before I start, like what you just said, Atal, it's important to share because our experience can help another, and that's the most important thing. Because especially with stroke, there's still so much to learn from it. So maybe we can learn from each other how to deal with the situation, with the stroke itself and with the aftermath. And to start, so my name is Henning, and this is my wife, Kati. She's kind of like very silent, and you will understand later on why she's a little bit more silent and why she's the one who had the stroke, but why I am the one speaking. So to begin with the Kati's story, Kati was a model, a supermodel, and Kati, just when her career started taking off, Kati had a hemorrhage stroke, lower brain stroke, that came almost without warning. There was some signs, but as Kati went to the doctor, she had dizziness episodes and so on, dizzy episodes, yeah. But she went to the doctor a couple of times and they didn't see nothing wrong. And they always said that it may be just something small, it may be just tired, it may be just stress also. And there's nothing to worry about. But on certain day, just after a long shoot, a few days after a long shoot, Kati was sitting watching TV with her mom, and she started feeling very sick, dizzy, could hardly move, couldn't hardly talk. She was just mumbling. She wanted just to go to bed, but her mother thought this is a little bit too strong. This cannot be normal. So let's go to the doctor. Again, Kati went to the doctor. At the same time, the doctor said it again. Oh, it's probably just the beginning of a flu. So just go home and sleep it off. Kati's mother thought this cannot be right. It cannot be just a flu. So she went to the hospital, to the emergency room. The doctors at the emergency room also didn't understand what was going on, because at that moment, that was in 1995, the general belief was that only older people can get stroke, and Kati was just 20 years old, so it couldn't be a stroke. They tried to give her all kinds of treatment for all kinds of other things, trying to find out what was wrong with her. But as time passes by, slowly she starts losing her ability to move and to speak. And at certain moments, she was completely paralyzed. Still at that moment, they didn't realize it was a stroke. So they did give her treatment to keep her alive. At that moment, also in the city where we live now, they didn't have a CAT scan and MRI, so to check her brain. So 2 days later, they sent her to another city, to another hospital to have the MRI done. And when the doctors did that in the other city, then they discovered that she had the lower brain stroke and that it's severely damaged, and it was too late to do anything. So they declared that she had the condition called locked-in syndrome. Locked-in syndrome is a condition where your brain works properly, your upper brain, so your thinking is all there. Your muscles, in principle, they can move, they all working well, but the lower brain, the brainstem, is severely damaged, that the messages don't go through from the upper brain down to the muscles to make them move. Now the tongue is also a muscle, and also a muscle that Kati cannot move. So Kati not only cannot move her body at all, she cannot move her body in her muscle, tongue neither, she cannot speak neither. Kati, at the rehab, they taught Kati a different way to speak, and that's by using her eyes. And I'm gonna show you how it is in the principle right now. This is a letterboard. It's a little bit with the lights. I don't know if how well you can see it, but you can see that there are letters on the letterboard. And we place this letterboard between ourselves. So I place it to keep it between me and Kati would look at the letter and I would say it out loud. And like that, we will be spelling a word. And Kati, that's how, and yeah. So you're gonna do it, yeah, okay. H, E, I, E, A, L, L. Hi, all. Hi to everybody. Hi to all people that's out there. Now, of course, with time, you learn the letters by head. So you don't need the board. We don't actually use the board at home because I know basically where the letters are. So we just speak with our eyes. Kati speaks with her eyes. Yes. Kati, like I said, Kati was at that moment completely paralyzed after the stroke. At first, she couldn't even move her eyes, but then 2 days after, was it, that she regained the movement in her eyes, but still the rest of her body was completely paralyzed. In the rehab therapist realized that she had a little bit of movement in her jaw, and they did some therapy with that. So Kati learned how to eat again by herself. Before that, she had, of course, the tube in her trachea, which they feed her liquid food and went through. And now Kati can eat normally, although in a different way. She can chew a little. It has to be soft food though. She can chew a little, and since she cannot swallow, it is a way of chewing and slowly let the food go backwards and then tipping the head over so the food can slip down the throat. Also in therapy, they discovered that she has a little bit of movement in her legs, and it is more like that she can make small kicks, and they practice that, and that is the one way that she can do a little bit of therapy, swimming therapy, yeah. hydrotherapy by going to the pool with the therapist holding her up, and then she can kick herself around, like moving herself around in the swimming pool. So that's about Kati and Kati's situation. Kati, they say, almost entirely paralyzed, 90%. It's hard to define how paralyzed one can be, but it is almost entirely paralyzed because Kati cannot do anything for herself, except that maybe when she's at the computer, we place her at the computer, put her technology there, she can work on the computer by herself, but she cannot do anything else for herself. So somebody, as it me, Kati's mom, or the caregivers have to do everything, anything that Kati needs to be done. I mean, really everything that starts from brushing, washing the face, brushing teeth, everything, feeding. Now, the one thing is Kati's mind is all there. So Kati decides when she wants to eat, what she wants to eat and how she wants to eat it and everything. But for the rest, physically, somebody else has to do everything for Kati, dressing up and everything like that. Now, going back to the stroke and after the stroke, like I said before, the stroke, at the moment of the stroke, they didn't realize it was a stroke, so the right treatments were not given. And yeah, by the time they realized it was too late, so only thing they can do is try with rehab. The doctor said actually that Kati would not be able to move at all after the stroke, after they discovered that it was a stroke and how severely the brain was damaged, the lower brain. But yeah, she proved them a little bit wrong, although that little bit makes a big difference in her life, in our life nowadays. But in the beginning, after the stroke, you can imagine that from being, excuse me, from being, sorry, my voice, but from being completely healthy to be entirely paralyzed, it was a shock to the system. And of course, at that moment, the only thing that Kati wanted to do was to die. She would wake up every morning when she realized that it wasn't a dream, that she's still in this situation. She was just crying and sometimes begging her mother even to help her put her end to this ordeal. And that went on for a couple of months. And then still Y, year, yes, couple of years and 3 years, more or less, of complete depression. And the only thing that she actually wanted was just to end it all. The only other thing that she would do, they worked through, Kati and her family, is trying to find, since the doctors, sorry with my voice, the doctors couldn't have a cure, a treatment for her, find alternative treatments. Some of them, which helped a little bit, like acupuncture, helped a little bit with the release of the relaxing the muscles and so on, but none of them really helped her to regain her movements and become. I see the lower brain, the brainstem. In the brainstem, the stroke was in the brainstem. Yes, where was I?
Henning,
Yes.
I wanted to say, if you need to take a break to drink some water, please feel free to do so.
Yes, let me do so, because as you can hear, the voice is a little bit off right now.
Sure.
Actually, I was the whole morning. It's 4 o'clock here, 4:20 here in Finland right now. Okay. I was the whole morning at the hospital because I have one issue. It's with kidney stones, and I had it today in the morning, and I had to go to the hospital, and they gave me a strong medicine. So I'm still a little bit dizzy of that, and it's drying my mouth. Sure. Now, yeah, you can feel it now.
Be comfortable.
Yes.
And thanks for doing this despite your stone incident, because I know how painful they can be.
Yes, they can be, and I have it before, and today one is one of the worst. Actually, it went through already. It's in the urethra, and it's still in there, but it still didn't come out. But it should be coming out one of these days at any moment. But
All right.
the first medicine they gave me, it helped a little bit, but it didn't take all the pain away. Then they had to give me a stronger medicine, which, yeah, it has a little bit effect on me still right now. Where were I? Where was I? You remember now where I was? Somewhere about your condition that you just
Doctors, you
being,
were mentioning.
yeah, yeah, something BDEP, yeah, being depressed. Of course, it seems at that moment, I mean, it's only logical that at that moment there is nothing to live for. I mean, what is there to live for if you think you're completely paralyzed? You cannot do nothing for yourself. Although she wanted that her mother, her parents didn't give up on her and kept helping her, moving along and trying to find a way. And she did not only the regular, more regular kind of therapies, but also some extreme ones. And there was the one that was with a bamboo stick, beating the muscles with a bamboo stick, really painful therapy, which that yeah, that it sounds crazy. It is crazy, and but that therapy actually, that was more like a torture than a therapy, made Kati realize that she cannot go on her life living like this, just looking and doing all these kind of stuff to get better and not living her life. And this made her accept her situation, that she had a stroke, things changed, there's gonna be a new normal, but there is still life, there's still life to live. So at that moment, she started to work on herself, on her attitude, to move on, to be able to live as long as possible. I mean, a best life as long as possible. A simple way. She started doing that just by, instead of staying in bed all day or just wearing the pajamas or clothes, yeah, medical clothes, the aprons and so on, to start waking up every day and fixing herself up, yeah, to greet the day with a more positive way, in a more positive way, and also started writing her story and her memoir, her diary, keeping a diary of all what happened to her and so on. At that moment, she started also to use the computer more often, to start communicate with her friends all over the world. Thank God for the internet at that moment. That helped the use of computer. ITIHJ, just BDGCAM, game. It just came out. Yeah, the system all just came out. The system that she's still using today actually just came out. IMAEA, mean I, internet. Yes, internet also just came out. So that's how she started living her life, even though completely paralyzed in a chair, through the internet, and making friends and trying to travel whenever she can. One of the secrets was to just look through people, like Kati likes to say, look through people. It's not looking at what people say, how they act around you, because you're different, but just look through them. Ignore it. Ignore other people, especially the people with a negative attitude. Just ignore them. Just focus on the good, the nice. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your loved ones, the moment, the time you share with your loved ones, and so on. She started moving forward. And as life moved on forward, at a certain moment, Kati wrote a book about what happened to her. That book was her first book, Silman Repaus in Finnish, which means in a blink of an eye. And after writing that book, some more doors opened. She started exploring the world a little bit more, and so on. And all this time, we didn't know each other, of course. And through things that happened through life, we came to meet each other on the internet. As we came to meet each other on the internet, yes, ITWA was TE 10 WY 10 years L later, 14 years actually. 14 years later after she had a stroke. 10 years later, 14 years later. Now it's 10 years that we've been together. 15 years, 11 years to be exact. Yes, we came to meet each other, and just as friends first, and then starting to chat every day online, and then on a certain moment meeting each other in person. And yes, and a relationship grew, and then we got married. I moved first. I moved to Finland to be with her, and then we got married. Now, at the wedding, before the wedding, because people know Kati, because Kati used to be a model, they know Kati in Finland. So when they hear she was going to get married, that's interesting story. So she had a few interview with some few magazines. And one thing that every interviewer had in common is that the reporter, the journalist would say that we should share the story because it can help a lot of people out there. It can bring hope. It can give people something to live for. And at first, I didn't make much of it because we were just living our lives. But at the wedding, at the moment that I was taking Kati to the altar, to the priest, and everybody was looking at the beautiful bride, I had to look in front of me to see where I was going. And I saw the priest at that moment, an older priest, an experienced priest. He was taking his glasses off to wipe off a tear off his eyes. And at that moment, I realized, oh, maybe this story can help so many other people out there. Maybe it's true what they're saying. And at that moment, we decided to start working on a way to share our story, to help others out there, to bring hope, and yes, to help others out there. And on that journey, yes, that journey took us so far. It helped us just as much as it helped others. It helped us also in our daily life, because by helping, like they say, by helping others, you help yourself. So we've been through so much things through these 10 years. Yes, that's too much for me to counter, but yes, that we did so many things, and it's become a privilege by doing all that we're doing, that all the time we can meet nice people, incredible people, and also share and help other people. And that's why we do. And we never not accept an invitation like this, like the one from Hardeep, which Hardeep contacted us a few weeks ago with this idea. We said immediately yes, because we know how that the story, humbly, I have to say, humbly, we know that our story can help so many out there. Our experiences and how we deal with our life and everything that we go through can help others. So we always we appreciate the chance. We feel privileged that we can be in talks like this and talk to others and help others. Yeah. Now, one thing that people mostly ask is, how do we do it? How do we get through the situation of being in a situation of completely paralyzed, like a situation like this, and how we move forward. And I have to say one thing is, and what people think, because I always want to address this issue, because people think it's all about money. When you have money and you have, it may seem that we have a nice house, but we are not rich. It's not such a big house. It's just a 2-bedroom house. We are not rich people. We are working people. Okay, at least I am working. Yes. One thing that is different in the country where we're living in Finland is the Finnish social system helps very much with everything. So when we need help, it maybe take a while. It takes, we have to go through the channels, but we do get the help that we need to do the therapy or the equipment and so on. That's the one thing that we're lucky here in Finland with, and that helps. But most of the time it is very much in the attitude, an attitude of being positive and trying your best. And it's A, C, C, E, R, P, accepting, yes, accept the situation as it is. Because the more you fight it, the worse it gets, the harder it gets. Just accept how it is, that your life, this is a new normal. This is how life is going to be for you now. And as in the moment you accept how it is easier to make changes, and changes for the better. Because if you keep fighting it, you just keep being stuck in one place. So that's one thing, important thing, accepting it. And just, I know that it can be hard. It really, but as soon as you accept it and take it as a new normal, you can move forward. You can get further. Now, one thing I know, especially for the people that just recently have the stroke, it's harder to accept the situation. And one thing I want to say to people like this, after losing the stroke, it's like when you lose a member of your family. You need time to grieve first. You cannot force the situation. With accepting, when I say accepting, I don't say accept like it's blindly, accept it and just move forward and make the next step. Grieve first. In every situation, you have to grieve. It's normal to feel that you just want to die, and you would think, why did this happen to me, and go through all those motions. That's all normal. But it's a day-by-day thing. You just keep going one day at a time, and with a positive attitude, it will get better. Any thought? Yeah. Yes, we'll be soon finishing the stories, and anybody has questions also can ask.
No, please feel free to continue as long as you wish to.
Excuse
Just
me.
a reminder.
Yeah. Yes, take time to grieve, accept, and then see yourself as a special person, and yeah, and then you can move forward. Like see. I mean, if you have to use a wheelchair, it's not something you dream of, but if a wheelchair is a way to move forward, to be mobile, yes, then you just have to deal with it. We just have to learn to deal with it and learn to make the best of it. Kati, the wheelchair is, Kati is only, sometimes to the sofa, but Kati is basically only in the wheelchair, in bed. But we make the best of it. We still travel. We travel around Europe. We travel whenever we can around the world. Kati still models. We were, what is it, 2019 that we were in Sri Lanka? Yeah, 2019 we were in Sri Lanka. Kati was doing some modeling in Sri Lanka. So we still, well, whenever we can we take all the challenges that we can, as long as it's possible, we take them, and you learn much from the challenges. You learn from the people you meet along the way. I'm very sure I'll be learning much from all of you today also. And yeah, anything else you wanted to add to that? B, D, O, D, G, C, U, N, M, E, O, M, N, T. Don't count, do count. Wait, it's got that one wrong. B, D, O, do, D, O. See the documentary. Oh, yes, Kati wants to mention two things. Kati, last 2019, Kati also wrote a new book in autobiography in English, Living Underwater. And that's life, actually, the life of after stroke. And the living underwater, which means that when you cannot keep your head underwater anymore, over water, like normal, a new normal, finding a new normal. You're underwater and you learn to live under the water. You learn to live with a new normal. So Kati had that book came out, and Kati, we also did a documentary about communication devices for people that cannot speak. Eyes can tell that actually in Mumbai, in Indo Global Festival, Film Festival in Dubai, won the first prize for short documentary. And we have friends there in India, many friends that invite us, and especially some friends in Bangalore that always reminding us that we promised to come visit someday. So we would love to come to India also when one of us travels, maybe when the pandemic is over, to come visit India. And Kati loves spices and colors, so we'd love to do that someday. And the people of India always nice, so that's always a place that you really would want to visit, because the people are also very nice every time you meet them. So yeah, I don't know what more I have to say right now. So I would just let Hetal, if there's something, or Deep, anybody else is something, feel free to ask. Yes, and let me know, and we can maybe have a chat right now.
Hi, Kati and Henning. Could you perhaps elaborate a little bit about the initial struggles in terms of, like you mentioned about the depression and how she overcame it, some of the logistical, physical struggles as well? What kind of therapy or tools helped in the journey?
Yes. Most for Kati in their situation with the muscles still working and not be able to moving them, the physical therapy of any kind of massage, acupuncture, the one with the stones? I don't remember, with the hot stones. Yes, sauna also here is quite a very common thing here in Finland, but also helps with the muscles, because one important thing for the muscles were to be able to relax. And after they relax, they can get some movements again. So the first thing to do is to relax them. So therapies that can relax muscle are very important still in everybody's everyday life, because the less they relax, the stiffer they get, the more problematic it get. It's also not good for the blood fluctuation through your body. So that's all kind of therapies like this is very important. What kind of therapies? Any kind of moving therapies, also for the same thing. Any kind of moving therapies, like Kati is only the swimming, but for the smallest things that you can move, it would be great if you can do those therapies, because it does help. It does help very little by little with very little movements, but it does help. And it does help even now, sometimes after 25 years, some little movements, maybe they don't lead anywhere to Kati being able to do something, but it does lead to a healthier body. like we were trying the neuronode, this system to control the computer with movements, electric movements that still go through your body. So even though she cannot actually move her fingers, if Kati can concentrate of sending the signal to the fingers, there is very little signal that goes through, but it doesn't get all the way to the finger to really make the finger move. But it does get to, let's say, the pulse area, and the machine can pick it up. And as soon you see that happen, you keep trying, and it becomes like a sort of workout. And if you feel good after things, your body feels like you're getting stronger, like in a workout when you do workout. So any little treatment that you can get like that, don't take it for granted, because it can help. It can help to have a healthier life. IHADMU much WFEACHI facial STHAER therapy INPRE and rehab. Yeah. In rehab, they get Kati just facial therapy, and a very simple system. It was just electric toothbrush, and just going with the electric toothbrush all over her body, massaging her face muscles. So first A N I T B B G C A E, and ice, with ice too, with temperature, then with ice also, massaging your face with ice. And all these little things did do some help. So don't take any therapy for granted, as long as not such a crazy thing of letting them beat in your body with some bamboo sticks. Don't take anything for granted. Anything can help. W A E well I T D I D did H help. It did help in another way. Yes, it did help in the mentally part, that accepting the things as they are. But yes, right now the basic therapies that Kati gets right now is just every week, at least the most important that she gets all the time is just to therapist comes and move her body and loosen up her muscles so they don't get too stiff. Kati has also a standing therapy, where they put her in a machine and they lift her up so she stands, and that's for the muscles and also for the blood to fluctuate better through the body. And the swimming therapy, as I said before, where she can actually, it's the only therapy that she can actually move with. So those I, D, I, H, J, H, I, N, N, B, E, D, R, C, D, G, beginning, S, P, A, E, speech therapist. Yeah, and speech therapist in the beginning. And yeah, and like talking with the eyes, Kati, they say Kati has very strong eyes. It's just because of talking with the eyes. She moves the eyes all the time all around. So, and this is for the stroke survivors themselves, and for my part, to the family members and so on. I can tell you that there is life to live. There is things that we can do. For us also, it takes to understand that things have changed and that life is going to be a new normal. And for her face, the emotional side of things. She did therapists, see the question about Kati, she did have a facial therapist, because first they said, the doctor said, there's not going to be no facial movements at all. And just with the massages, like I told before, with the toothbrush and these things, the muscles came back to life, and the facial movements came back. I, T, S, T, I, still, M, I, S, S, Miss, M, Y, U, much, B, U, T, A, S, T, at least, H, I, B, D, G, O, T, S, O, some. Yes, she said she doesn't have all the facial expressions, all the emotional expression, or control over them. Let's put it this way, because Kati's body can move, the control over them. The track movements is called neuronode, the one that measures the track movements. It's called neuronode. Yes, Kati didn't get all the expressions, but she regained some. You know what else? Yeah, but I was saying about the family members and so from the stroke survivors. And there are ways out there to get over every hurdle. It takes sometimes imagination, it takes sometimes persistence, but there are ways to get over. There is life to be living. If Kati gets tired of communicating, if we do it for a very long time, both Kati and I, because Kati's eyes do get tired and I get tired of speaking all the time. I always joke that if somebody's standing in another room and hearing me, it's like I'm talking to myself. So it is tiring. It does get tiring at certain moments, but we like it better. Kati has a machine that she can use to talk with, but we like better communicating. Both Kati and I and Kati's mom prefer communicating with the eyes because it's more active for us. It's more active. It was more personal. It's more, yeah, you are more in a deeper contact with the person than waiting for just somebody to say something on computer. So there's lots of good technology out there, and it's becoming more and more each day, and that's good because the prices are going down more and more each day. So there are good technology out there, even though we don't use it in our daily life. We do promote it. It is out there. It's B U T S T H I this I is B E T S best A N D W F R E E. Oh yes, Kati says talking with the eyes, she still finds it best, and it costs the less, it doesn't cost anything at all. It just takes a little bit of patience in the beginning.
How long did it take for Kati to learn communicating with
I'm sorry.
How long did it take for you to start communicating with your eyes, Kati?
I N M M almost immediately. But first it was just blinking. At the hospital, Kati's mom realized that Kati still, at first the nurses and the doctors thought that Kati didn't understand what was going on. And Kati's mom has realized that Kati did understand and that she can blink her eyes. And so they started communicating by blinking eyes to questions, yes or no. Once for yes, twice for no, yes. And it was just a few days after, the therapist came in and said, oh, when Kati regained all the movement of her eyes, they say, okay, we have another system that we would want to try it out. And so it was within a week that she started communicating with her eyes. Yeah. So like I say, there's a lot of systems out there, and for different people, there's systems that you can move your ear and control the computer with the movement of your ears. And with your eyes, which we promoted, we have one, and Kati is ambassador from the Eyes Gaze Communication that provides video games that people can play with use of their eyes. So there are systems out there. It takes a little bit of research and to find the right one for the patient, because not every system is good for everybody. So it takes a while to find the right system for the right person. Yeah. Yes. Any other question? Any other?
So, we are officially opening up the floor for questions, audio, video. Please feel free to turn on your audio and your video and communicate with Kati and Henning. I'm going to mute myself again.
What are your likes and dislikes individually and as couple?
Oh, okay. Likes. What the dislikes is better. The likes are so much that it's better than dislikes. What would be a dislike? One thing that we dislike very much, I can say, is, and something that we avoid very much, is people with negative attitude.
Yes, yes.
That is very much somebody that has a negative attitude. That's one thing that we always avoid immediately, because life is too precious and too fragile to be wasted like this. So no, that is one thing that certainly, yeah, we dislike, and that we come across very often, that we really try to avoid. It's hard to avoid it all the time, but we do. When we choose caregivers or people in our lives, we always try to find people with positive attitude, that are happy and so on, to be, because it makes a difference. The people around you, that do make a difference in your life. So that's the one thing that I would say. Kati, of course, Kati likes to dress up, to look nice, and Kati enjoys eating different food. Kati loves India food also. She always, we don't get so much here in Finland, but when she says this Indian recipes and these things, she loves them. So, and sometimes I have to say, a break, give me a break right now. But Kati likes cooking, so even though she cannot move, she's always taking her caregivers and telling them exactly what to do, how to cook it, and how to prepare it. Yes, so yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, a very colorful life, also not only in the living, in the dressing, but also in the culinary part. Very colorful.
No, that is a different stroke. Thank
What
you.
is your favorite food?
Wow, what's your favorite food? So many. It's too many to mention. I can tell you just for we always have some curry in home. And sometimes I said to her, please, no, and she's got curry, and she starts smiling, because I say, oh, wait, we just had curry, something else. A break. But Kati loves curry. It's one of them for sure. She loves Italian food also, but curry is also one of her favorite things.
And you?
Me?
Well, I will just say a few words. It's truly a wonderful, wonderful, I would say, recitation and learning from you, Henning and Kati. Such an inspirational journey, I would say, and so many takeaways from there. I am just curious about a few things. I'll come to them by the by. One, what were you looking for, Henning, when you landed at Kati's page? What were you doing at that time? What is your background? What got you interested in that page? How did that start? And I think, as you mentioned, it was almost 10 years later after the stroke.
In my life at that moment, I was before that, I was working in the television and media kind of business, and I wanted to get out of that. So I made the change, and I wanted to live a little bit more relaxer life. So I changed work drastically, what I was doing, and wanted to make a change in my life, living a more relaxed life. The finding Kati on the page was actually something that I mentioned before, that Kati had another relationship before, and it didn't end up well. And that relationship, where she went to live in the Caribbean for a while. I will answer about the computer soon after we're done here. And that didn't go well, and she moved back to Finland. But on the page, she still had said that she's living in the Caribbean. And when I saw her pictures, because I am from the Caribbean and I was living in Holland, and I was just looking around to see maybe I can come in contact with old friends. And I saw her there and I thought, oh no, this lady is not from the Caribbean. So I just sent her, I don't remember what the message was. It was a simple message. Yeah, it wasn't nothing. But Kati just checked out who the person was who sent her this message, and there was some music playing there. She liked the music. She asked me about the music, and that's how it started. And I would say it was like meant to be. It wasn't planned. It's not in the beginning and so on. It was just happened naturally. We started talking, and we find that we had so much in common. And her situation wasn't like a problem to me, because we would get along so good that part of the situation wasn't an issue for me. And then when we met, we really clicked. It was just like when we were chatting on the internet, we really clicked. The same sense of humor, the sense of music, and the liking different foods, and all these kind of little things. So we got along very well. I learned to communicate with Kati in about 2-3 days using the I thing. So everything went so natural that it was like it was meant to be.
Great.
And to answer about the
yeah, indeed, as you say, some things are meant to be, and as you say, well, this was meant to be, and it's great. It's great to see you together, and the chemistry is apparent. You know, one can make out that you gel so well with each other.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. I would ask anyone else if he has.
Yes, it is. You're welcome. And I saw a question coming in. Yeah. There was a question that came in about computers, about what Kati uses. Kati uses computer for everything, and it is just for fun, for the personal things, but also for professional things. She writes her blogs and things like this. She does use her computer for everything. WYOUTBGCA&BBDGCHAE. Check. So for anybody that's interested and see, there's much more information about Kati, the situation and so on Kati's website. It's katilepisto.fi. It is Kati's maiden name. Kati's maiden name is Lepisto, so katilepisto.fi. You can check it out. You can find out more about Kati, more about videos and articles and so on. Is there any other question? Maybe there's some question came in that I didn't see. Let me check. Let's start here. So she say both together. Where's the guys? Yeah, that I think. Keep us posted on your way travel and say, yeah, I will keep you posted about traveling to India. Get tired of communicating. We did. What's the name of the tool? It's NeuroNote. I will write it down. The tool's name, NeuroNote. I would write it down. That's NeuroNote. Keep on posting. What's the name of the tool? Yeah, it got the therapist in. Then absolute acceptance is the key. Yeah, please free to message the queries. Henning, more reasons to thank. Where's Kati's stroke? Yeah, I've answered that already. Also, please feel free to put your thoughts in. Yes, I think I covered those already. So anybody else has any question?
I have one question, but I'll wait in case somebody else has other questions, and I'll go last.
Okay. I thought maybe Priya wanted.
This is Samir in Washington, D.C. You know, I'm a stroke survivor. And really hats off to Kati and hats off to you also, Henning, because it's equally challenging for the caregiver. I know. I had the experience of a stroke for the last 4 years. So
Yes.
hats off to you, both of you. And the one question I have for Kati is, all of us here, right? Whether we are stroke survivors or caregivers or whatever, how did she find the strength? What advice or what tips she can give to all of us on how to build resilience, right? With this change of life, you talked about a new normal, and we all are going through a new normal, either as a stroke survivor or a caregiver. So what advice or what one or two things that builds your resilience, which you obviously, you guys have done?
Actually, it's an interesting question, Samir, because we just got asked to make a talk about resilience in a couple of months. It just came in and we were just talking about resilience. In Finland, they have a concept called sisu, and there's no definition for it in other languages, in any other languages. And sisu is it is a combination of resilience, grit, perseverance, and not just to survive through difficult situation, but also to thrive in that situation. So resilience, and as we were talking about resilience, where we get this resilience for what we were talking for the speech, it is how to explain it. It is something that it is in you, but sometimes with everything that's going on, your focus is so much on the outside world and expecting things to be in a certain way that we ignore this resilience that is in us. Because life itself is resilience. Can you imagine life in this planet? W, F, V, W, Y, O, U, H, A, F, I, T, W, I, H, E, N, M, N, E, E, D, needed. Yeah, you have it when you need it. This part of it is ignorance. Like what Kati says, one of the things that helped her through this situation is ignoring the look of people or the way people looked at her. And so after the stroke, because people look at you or like you're something strange, or they look at you in pity, and then learn to look through these people and just ignore that part. And that's a big part of the creating that resilience, because if you don't look at what used to be anymore, or what people think, and then it doesn't matter anymore. And that it creates, it's a type of resilience. So somewhere in there for us, that is, I had to learn it after I came with Kati. And I see, actually the first time I met Kati in person, it was at the airport. And we went walking through the airport, and people would be looking at Kati strangely. And I would be noticing it is all the time. And I would notice it, and I would look at Kati, and Kati was just going by her own things and doesn't notice these people at all. And at that moment, I learned a big lessons already about resilience. As part of the resilience is ignoring the bad and just looking at the bright side of things. The same trip, we went to a restaurant, and the waiter, he meant to be nice, but he was very condescending in a way that every time Kati took a bite of it, it was, oh, good girl, and it was driving me mad. And Kati was just laughing at all, like it was very funny. And those parts helped me to grow as a person also, to the resilience in these things, to just let these things that are not positive, let them go. They're all negative. So yeah, that's one way that we create the resilience in our case.
That's great. I think what you said is so true. Now let it go. That's the key. Absolutely. And I thank you for those comments. I'm tempted to ask one more question.
Sure.
Kati has now written a book, and she has started her modeling career and so on and so forth. And as I recover, and I've done the same things. I've written a book, and I've started to live my life in this new normal. So I'm tempted to ask Kati, what's next for you, Kati? Is there one more book in your future?
Right now, a book is not in the future directly. We are almost done with another documentary, and this because Kati went to the first ever Miss Wheelchair World 3 years ago, was it? And it was when we were making the another documentary, Eyes Can Tell, and they got so much footage from that they decided, oh, we can maybe make another documentary about beauty and the wheelchair, of women in the wheelchair and how they thrive. So that is about to finish. We were working on that, and that should be finished by now. Due to the COVID situation, because normally we take these documentaries to film festivals and so on, but due to the COVID situation, a lot of these festivals been canceled and so on. So we don't know how this is going to move forward, but that was in the plan. And actually right now, not going to go into details with it, but we were planning some personal things right now, actually, to work on some personal things in our lives right now.
All right, great. Thank you so much. And again, hats off to you both.
Thank you very much, Samir. You must have your courage and passion for life. Yes, it is. Certainly.
Does anybody else have any more comments, questions? Okay, I'll go ahead with my question. Kati, I wanted to ask you about something which is very normal, very natural that all women face about menstruation. Did the stroke affect that in any way? How do you manage taking care of yourself while you're menstruating? It might help some other women who have suffered from stroke and are either partially paralyzed or having trouble with some movements.
Didn't, did, B, D, G, E, get, S, T, H, A, E, N, M, I, N, M, M, immediately, S, U, N, F, O, R, T, U, unfortunately. Yeah. The one thing that you can tell is that Kati, since that it's not just the menstruation part, Kati cannot do any going to the toilet, any of these things. Kati cannot clean herself up and say so. You get used. She got used very quickly to how to deal with it. Kati doesn't have it no more. Thank God. A few years. Yeah, we thank God because it can be a little bit uncomfortable situation, but it was very much up and down. And yes, it can be a month very little, it can be another month very much. It's uncomfortable for sure, but since in the beginning already, the moment that you lose that privacy, that dignity of that somebody has to wipe you at all these things, that became also, it's part of life. And and I had to deal with it also for a couple of years, and it's just part of life,
And often
I learned a lot about that also, actually. That was a lot that I didn't know before that I learned at that moment.
Okay. I also ask because women experience different moods at different phases of their menstrual cycle. A lot of mental health issues are correlated often, for example, PMS. So I wonder if before the stroke and after the stroke, did that change for you, or was there no difference?
No, it
No.
wasn't extreme. In Kati's case, it's for the part that I mean, it wasn't extreme. A, C, T, actually, M, N, O, M, more, P, E, A, I, pain. Actually, the pain, it was even less after the stroke for Kati.
Okay.
That was an interesting question.
Yeah, these are often
Yes.
such normal body processes, but people hesitate to talk about it. There are
Yes.
some movements in India which are trying to
Yeah.
conversation.
I think it's the first time that, at least when we're doing it together, that I got that question was asked, and I'm happy for it because I'd never thought about it like that and never confronted it in this way. So yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, and like you said, because of the probably helplessness or the dignity
Yes.
issues
Yeah.
like that, already when it comes to urination or a passing stool, this is something else that is equally normal,
Yeah.
but often not talked about.
Yeah.
And really appreciate both of you taking the time to be so comfortable and opening yourselves up and allowing us into your lives. I know it takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage, not just to go through these situations, this new normal, but also, like you said, dealing with people's stares or uncomfortable comments and things like that. And please know that if at any point of time you need any kind of support, we are there for you. And I really learned a lot from both of you. Um,
Yes. Thank you for
yes, and so sweet. You guys are such an amazing couple, both of you. And yeah. Does anybody else have any comments, questions? Somebody's raised their hand.
Yeah, I just had, one query. I think somewhere you made a comment, Henning, live life well. And that's amazing, live life well, despite whatever life puts at you.
Yes.
Whatever the adversities, as they say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That it's amazing. Take what comes and do the best out of it. So I was just curious, so far with your journey with Kati, what are the moments you think were the most well lived, so as to say? Anything that comes to your mind? Okay, this was a wonderful moment that we had in our journey. Just I'm sure we would love to know a little about that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to say which ones are they, but always moments like this, kind of moments like this, when you get to meet other people and talk about your journey and hear about their journeys, are one of the best moments of it. Every time we have these talks like this, when it's a group of people, and it is nice to be on stage and talking to a big group of people, but it's nicer to be in a small group and then have the feedback. Moments like this are the best moments for me. For you? Yeah, for you too. Yes, for both of us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I only wish that we could do this more often and in person, but yeah, maybe someday we can do that again also.
Sure. Yes. Yes, we will certainly do that. We look forward to that, going forward.
Yes. Yeah, sure. And Hardeep and Atal, thank you very much for having us.
Henning, it's really wonderful to listen your wonderful experience, togetherness. It's really inspiring for all of us who are today there on the show. I think you are doing the best, and of course for the Kati, and I think She must be feeling very, very proud. Proud of you, for all your efforts. I think it's a lovebirds. But I think at times, if you feel tired, which are the other members, I think, who are there, to taking care, because at times you may be busy or maybe sometimes you travel. So, I mean, of course, as you said, Katie's mom, and then who else, I mean.
Kati does have caregivers, and there's one right now. She's sitting in the other room. There's one here right now. But they work through the day hours. Kati has caregivers, as I can go to work as one. There's somebody with Kati. At night we're alone. But in situations like this, mostly Kati's mom, like I was saying before, that I had to go to the hospital today in the morning, and Kati's mom came by and took the dog out for us. And because of the strong medicine, I couldn't drive to get the other medicines. She went with me to get the medicines. So Kati's mom plays a big role in the whole story, and from the beginning, and still is playing a big role in our life. Kati's mom, but also caregivers. And then that's why we always say also about choosing the people. We always choose people with positive attitude and these things, because also with caregivers, it's very important.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Best, I mean, in the years and the times to come, and we wish her, recovery as normal, and of course, cherish your dreams together.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes.
Kati and Henning, that is Hardeepji's sister and brother-in-law.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Actually, we are based in Bangalore, and as you said that you have a couple of friends, you have got an invitation from Bangalore. We were there in Delhi, and we have recently moved to Bangalore, and Bangalore is a lovely place. I think if you have traveled, previously to Bangalore, but we welcome you. I think when the things and the pandemic normalizes, I think we'll be really too happy, to have you over here, a trip to Bangalore.
Yeah, thank you very much. We will. It's on our list.
Okay.
It's
okay.
on our list.
Okay, great. Then we look forward to, I will let the situation become normal. Let's all break together. And we look forward to your visit to India and to Bangalore.
You will love the food we make, Indian recipes. You will love, both of you will love.
You can see her already. Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. We'll keep that in mind. Yes, hopefully soon we can come there soon.
Sure. Yeah.
We are really proud of you, Henning. And Kati must be also very proud of you. You are so encouraging, so loving, so affectionate. It's so much to learn from you, from both.
Just trying our best, man. Just trying our best.
I think the beautiful and the serenity of the love and the joy, which we see on your face, I think that is really uplifting us, many of us over here. That's really great. God bless you both. All the happiness, togetherness.
Yeah. It is true. It is there. Sometimes it becomes normal also, but it is there. Moments like this, you realize really how it is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, sure. I think we will stay in touch and share your stories, I think, as the progress you make in life, and of course your future plans. With all the best.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
What website did you mention?
Kati's website.
Kati's website. I will write it down right now on the chat.
Yeah.
Yes. Would be other. In the chat box, katilepisto.fi, and it has a Finnish page, but it also has an English page and Spanish also. from there you can get, there's more articles about Kati, there's videos, more videos of what we did. You can get to Kati's book from there, and everything else, to our YouTube page and everything else you can get from Kati's website.
Okay. Have you been to in India any times? You or Kati previously?
No, we've been to a couple of years ago to Sri Lanka, but not to India, the mainland. No, not yet.
Okay. Okay.
We're looking forward to it though.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
So.
All right. If anybody doesn't have any more comments or questions, Hardeep, should we move towards closing session? Would you like to say a few words?
Excuse me, were you speaking to me? I didn't hear you well.
Hardeep, would you like to say a few words before we close?
I think I've said pretty much all. It has been wonderful having you, Kati and Henning, and truly an inspiration and wonderful meeting. Thanks a lot for all your efforts, taking the time out, spending the time with us. I'm sure all of us will have many takeaways from this meeting. And certainly, yeah, we look forward to having you, interacting more with you. There are various ways, such as our groups, etc. I will be in touch with you. Feel free to participate, and well, yes. Wish you both the best of times ahead and the best of journeys ahead. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much.
And I would leave this to Heather to take it further from here, and maybe take it further from here. Thank you.
I have just a minute. I'll just take a moment. I have my son who is with me and who is so inspired. He will say just hi to both of you.
Okay.
His name is Gagan. He's staying with us in Bangalore.
Okay.
Hi, brother. How are you?
Hello. We're
My
fine.
name is Gagan. People call me Gatsy.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You look like Pierce Brosnan.
Excuse me?
You look like Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
I'm no James Bond.
Yeah. And your wife looks like Kate Winslet.
Yeah, that I do agree with you. Thank you.
I think that's the expression, you know. I mean, he was so inspired by looking at you. Of course, it's given a compliment, you know.
Yeah. It was a nice compliment. Yeah, thank you.
But, yes. Good.
Kati, Henning, would you like to say something before we close?
We just had a lovely time right now. Thank you, everybody. It's always nice to meet nice people. So we had a lovely time. Thank you, Hardeep and Hetal, for the invite and having us. Really, it was amazing. And like always, like we have talks, and you never know what to expect. And yeah, it was a lovely talk. So thank you very much for having us, and thank you for everybody to being here today, and the nice comments. Thank you very much.
Thanks again.
I think it's really a pleasure for us. It's a pleasure for us to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I echo the comments that everybody has also put in the chat box and have shared our voice. It's been a really inspiring session, and I hope we continue our conversations and communication in the future as well. And again, a very, very warm welcome to you to India whenever you decide to come, whenever it's safe again. Yes. And Bangalore again, I have lived in Bangalore for a long time now, and Bombay as well. So especially those two places, I would love to take you around, and then
Well, we have a tour
wherever
guide.
else you wish to.
Yes, that's great. It's always lovely to have a local tour guide. So you don't only the touristic part, you see the real part of the cities also. So that would be nice.
We have quite a lot of people from Bombay and Bangalore. Maybe we can also plan a party or a picnic once you're here.
That
Meet
sounds
some
lovely.
of our other family members of the stroke support group. And thanks again. I think I'm going to try and practice more Sisu.
Yeah.
Because I myself, it's difficult. Stroke is difficult. The aftermath is difficult, and we have to adjust to the new normal. But it's a journey, and I'm so glad and so grateful that I have got a chance to know all of you in this journey. And with that, I'll say stay safe and take care until we connect again.
Yes. Thank you for having us again. And yes.
But thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.